I'm going to start with asking you about the first and foremost question that all of us want to know. That how and why did you get into the design industry? I mean, is it something like you always wanted to know that you wanted to be an architect?
Well, don't take my smile in a wrong way because, when you ask me that question, I go back like 18, 20 years back. Um, I belong to a very humble business background from Kanpur, and when I was about to pursue a career, many options. There were primarily just engineering or doctor, and believe me, I had interest in none. And then there was an option where I got to know that there's something in which there's a creativity involved, and it just happened that because I just didn't want to be falling trapped into the rigorous doctor or engineering trade. I just ended up in happening to be part of architecture. That's how dumb it was, and where I mean, now it's my bread and butter. It's my life, and yeah, it was totally unknowingly, and it just happened.
Right, right. I mean, there was a time back in the day where people used to either, become fashion designers or engineers or just doctors. So back in the day, this was a very different and unique field for people to, get into. So I
Yeah,
definitely
because
think,
those back I mean, we're talking about like a couple of decades back, there were hardly any options. Trust me, the
yeah,
society was that you need to be part of this, otherwise, in your circle or in your society, you'll not be like
yeah, yeah,
any kind of accolades. You'll be just like a regular, you know humble girl. That's about it. So I mean, with
yeah,
now, look at so many options, so many categories. People are having so many diversified option in terms of if anybody wants to become a rock star, there's a rock school. I mean, nobody's stopping. You want to become a chef? Yes, of course. It's so beautifully looked at. But when we were wanting to pursue a career at that time, the options were very limited. And
yeah.
I'm ashamed to even say that I was just directed by my stars, or you could say it just happened.
You were just lucky. Okay. So we'd like to know what would you describe your design style as? Do you think your personal style somewhere connects with your design aesthetic?
Oh, well, yes. I mean, if you look in a long term, yes, it does. Um, my design is very versatile. It is an adaptation of the need of the client. When I design, it's primarily about understanding the needs, and then stirring it into a right mix with the ingredients of glamour, color, technology.
Right.
So so even if you look at all the designs that the projects that we have, ev- there's not like a specific style, because we love exploring. We don't want to be guarded by a trade mark that this, if anybody sees. I mean, long back there were, and still there's a lot of architects, I mean, amazing ones who have this specific style. But unfortunately, no, I don't. I like to be free flowing. I just like to
Okay.
explore and just be amusing my own self every time.
Right. So we all know about dhaba by Claridge's. We've all had the amazing dhaba dal. But
Yeah.
we also want to know that what was the reason behind placing that truck in the dhaba? Like that was the most exciting feature of it all, except for the food, of course. But the aesthetic
Yeah.
wise, I think it was quite cool. Personally, I think it was quite cool.
I think, see, dhaba as a concept, again, everything that you see placed into a project, um, we go back into the history. There's a lot of research that is involved, because unless
Right.
you do a research, there's no sense of dedication to the topic, the justice to what place or space we are inventing or reinventing. So dhaba, if you go, what clicks you? It's always like, you are traveling by the road, and then you
Yeah.
come across a street side amazing food, that fragrance come to your nose, and you're tempted to stop your car, and then
Yeah.
you are here enjoying, sitting in the cart, enjoying that yummy food, irrespective whether hygiene or no hygiene. So this is the concept that was brought into the plush society, of where you can have the hygiene factor under control, but the feeling of ambience was taken, and
Right.
the line was, how it was, because it's primarily, I mean, deep down you think about it, dhaba. I mean, you think, and mostly, dhabas, apart from catering to these fancy travelers who are doing road trips and stuff, it's a bread and butter and survival kit for all the truck drivers who are basically in the process of transportation. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's where the truck was a very, very important part. But
Wow.
it was challenging because the fact that when we were doing taking out dhaba out from this five-star premises for the public, every different space we opened in malls, we opened independent, existing place like, for example, DLF Sake mall. Uh, we wanted to place like a proper full truck, but the slab wasn't designed to take that point load at that place.
Yeah.
Then we had to restructure. We just got the first body, the rest of it was made, the chassis was just like empty, we just got the carcass. So there was a lot of to and fro mind work that went for it, but yeah, it turned out to be
Yeah, but I think the truck is like a signature for all the dhabas, I believe, right?
it
Yeah.
dhaba doesn't happen without a truck, whether it's just the base truck, or it's just like the full truck where you're sitting, and yeah, I think that's the experience.
Wow, that's brilliant. So moving on to the next question. What a lot of us wanted to know was that since now you have a practice in London also, how difficult or easy was it to, like just set it up?
Well, to set it up was very easy, but to implement and live and get it to the structure that we are here in India, it's still in the process, and it's still a lot of hard work. Like, for example, there's a time difference of 5.5 hours,
Right.
and me and my partner both are struggling in between both countries. And so if in India office starts at, like, say 10 a.m., so there is like 4:30 a.m. And all my clients and vendors that I work with, they all know that we all wake up there at 4 o'clock in our pajamas, but well decked to be part of the meetings and the call calls and the site visit. So yeah, I mean, we wake up like 4, and even our day doesn't end here because the 7 p.m. here is still like 3 p.m. there, and so the work starts like if we are there, it's 4 to 7, and if we are here, it starts till like 11, extends till like 11 at night.
Wow,
So
that's a lot of hard work. What
if
time do
you
you
have,
wake up this morning?
oh well, I'm in India right now. I have the pleasure of my sleep till like 6, not 4, and
Okay.
of course, night.
Okay. So, since you mentioned that you have a partner, and what I wanted to know was that a lot of us think, should we open up a firm with a friend, boyfriend, or a husband? I mean, how successful
Never,
do you think it
sorry,
is?
never.
Why would you say that?
Oh God, sorry, I didn't realize this was a live show and I had my emotions pouring out. So, okay, to be on a sensible note, it is good because if your partner is a part of the same configuration, he understands the nitty gritties. And the whole stress that one goes through. It's not just you're designing a project on a board and the client is just going to agree to it and da 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 da. You are done with it. It's
Yeah.
a rigorous process, and these days every bit, I mean, convincing a client is such a big challenge. It is
Yeah.
such, because everybody is so well traveled, well versed, they know what they want. I mean, the other issue is they want everything, and where you need to stop them. It's like a very big challenge.
Yeah.
uh, so at that aspect, yes, it helps, but okay, so the real truth about me, where the issue comes in, is when you're working, the work, because it's your baby, your firm is your baby, and
Right.
and it's not like it's 8 to 8, it goes on. So
Yeah.
the concepts, the conversation, the client discussions come to my bedroom, and that's what I hate, because my partner happens to be my
Oh
husband,
man.
and he's a man of few words and very little patience. So my other
I hope
complaint,
he's listening then, or I hope he's not listening then.
and then the thing is that his patience is all taken by my sweet and amazing clients. So there's hardly left for me, you know. You know where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I get. I understand what you're saying.
But yeah, I think it's to each its own. But yeah, I am happy. I think it is a good option because then you sort it. You know, you just have to concentrate on that. Like,
So you have someone to fall back on.
sorry.
You have someone to fall back on then when you
Yeah,
have a partner.
definitely it
Yeah.
works. It does work. Yeah, I
Okay.
can't deny that.
So, saying that you've done a lot of restaurants, be it like classical, contemporary ones. I think you've done a restaurant in the UK also by the
Yeah.
name of Total, right? So that being completely different to the concept of, a restaurant named Sevilla that you've done, or a dhaba by Claridge's. How do you get like such different concepts? Because generally when people design, they end up using the same terminology for every space they design. They have a certain signature touch to every space they do.
I hear you, Paushika, but you know, like I said, for us, it's primarily understanding the needs of the client. What he's looking at, because nobody, trust me, nobody better than a client knows what he wants, and to
Right.
decide or to decode that is the main game. You know, and if you are
Yeah.
able to decode that, you will hamper to crack the design. You will hamper to cater to the wow factor. You will have you will be able to basically give him what he wants and the client wants. So like for example, I'll tell you, and these three projects, I mean, very well picked up by you, is they're very diverse, though the only
Yeah.
thing that defines them is the F&B head. Rest everything is very diversified, of course, the countries, the kind of food, everything. So, like
Yeah.
for example, for Toto's, it's a listed building. It was a Winston Churchill house, which
Yeah.
was converted into. I mean, it was always a restaurant, but it was a listed building. It has a lot of listed elements like the fireplace, which couldn't be touched. So you have to do the planning around it. At the same time, it's a very stiff location in Walton Street where it exists. They in UK primarily, what happens is you have your favorite restaurant, you have your favorite pub where you go every day at that same time, you know, to sit with that
Yeah.
kind of people. So it's a community. It's not like,
Right.
oh, today I don't want to cook, so let's go. It is like their habit, their nature, you know. So
Yeah.
you have to deal with that emotion, you know. There was a lot of challenge because the English people, there were it's a very white lane. I'm sorry I'm using that word, but it is a very stiff lane. They did not want any changes, but it was new owner, everything, the cuisine was wanted to be changed. We wanted to create that whole ambience, but at the same time give them that whole feel of their local place where they could relate to it. So
Right.
everything was very rigid. We just got enhancement through a lot of, like, we added floor plate by adding a mezzanine, which was a very big task because getting approvals there, the council is another project altogether. So a lot of character came in, and the whole space was very understated, designed around that huge, amazing 6-7 feet tall fireplace, and the outdoor space and an additional space added. Whereas in Sevilla, it's more romantic, it's more Mediterranean. We had all the options in the world to explore. So there was like my creativity, and again, it was already a very well renowned place, known.
Yeah.
That was such a big challenge because now you're renovating. What are you going to give as an experience to the guest? Because they know, they love it. So that was a whole field. We created a furnitures, giving that whole estate about that Sevilla feel. Created those swirls, bridges, all romantic little bit of thing of Sevilla that we create, and especially those amazing cabanas with candelabras and all the dramatic stuff that one could think of. So it was like a
So
open
now
canvas.
that you've said it, when was the last time Parveso took you out there for a romantic date night?
Well, that's a very touchy thing. Unfortunately, not yet. And I think
What?
yeah,
This show is also a hint to him, I believe, then.
you should be listening to this. No, but I tell you, was an amazing experience for Sevilla because it was a time-bound thing, because the hotel was up and running. The general manager then, Mr. Atul Lal, and owner, Mr. Sanjeev Nanda, amazing people. Their team, Neeraj specifically, amazing team. But they were very short on time. So we had like a 40-day target, literally 40-day target, where we had to knock down the space, recreate with all the glamour, drama, all of those things, everything. And we were like every day, irrespective of the time or day, we were all there standing up front, and we are able to pull it all, all as a teamwork. And so then Mr. Lal said that, Sachi, why don't you come in for this, you deserve this, you come, let's have dinner and, the wines and stuff. And I was so tempted. I was like, yes, of course. But there was something else happening. I just conceived my first, my baby. I was pregnant. So I just okay, yeah, sure. And why is she not coming? And I just wanted to have wine there, because I don't want to miss just by hogging food. So I hope
you tell him to save you the wine for later, a couple of months down the line. Okay. We want to know what your philosophy on design and life is in a few words, in like 3 words, if you can describe it.
Innovating on obvious. Very specific. 3 words. See? How good I am.
This is not staged. Whoever is seeing this is not staged. This is the first time I'm asking all these questions. That was quick.
Yeah, you have to be quick. See how much
All right. So, in your opinion, what are the top trends in interior design in 2021?
See, trends keep coming and repeating, and I've been always noticing this one trend: the staticness needs to go in any space that we design. A little movement, a little life in terms of spaces needs to be created, and it is pretty much followed. Say, for example, the motion could be just created by a certain installation, or maybe just installing amazing sculptural fans which are just moving into a very zero speed. So it needs to be, and plus it needs to be more interactive. It can't be like a dead, beautiful looking space. The other thing which I think is, which is very mandate, is bright and happy spaces, because I think people are like so done with what's happening around, with the pandemics, with the economy, with the colors. I mean, look at the Pantone shade that's there. It's the sunshine, So it's light, it's brightness, it's color. So yeah, for me, these 2 things are going to be playing a very important key roles in my new designs for 2021.
So, if there's one project that you would pick in all over the world that you would have wanted to do, which one would it be?
Which I wanted to do?
Yeah.
There are lots actually. But
one thing that you're like, I wish I would have done this building.
Well, I always, somehow, every time I move around London, I just love the way it sits, the Tate Museum, the Tate Art Museum. But given a chance, like I said, because London is so diversified, I love the nativity of Tate that they have done. In fact, one that they have done recently as well. But the whole feeler about it, I still think that, with due respect, I love the design. I love, how they've used the native material, the brick, which is the most iconic material that you can relate with all the buildings in London. The bonds, the world has learned through them. The kind of experimentation of the bonds and everything that they done. But yeah, that's one building I would like to splash a lot of color into it.
Okay, tell us about a project that you regret not taking up.
Oh, Paushika.
And also one that you regret taking up.
Okay, I start with not taking up one. So while Dhaba has been a claim for fame for us. No matter how much we deny, but yeah, till date I get calls all over the world, maybe Pakistan, maybe Canada. I get calls like, madam, ab bas वैसे ही dhaba bana dijiye, and I just say sorry, नहीं बना सकती. कुछ और बनवाना है तो फोन करिए, नहीं तो नहीं बना सकती. Um, it is. And then while we just completed Dhaba, I got a call from Chayos. These were these amazing young people. Um, I hope Chayos is listening. So they came to us, but they were on a very tight budget. And you've just done Dhaba, you are enjoying that fame, and the budgets were good. You were given that flexibility to design and everything. So here the budgets were very tight, and things just didn't happen. And we were like, okay, whatever. And not even like 10, 15 days or maybe a month later, I see that they get a huge funding from some amazing bank in US.
Oh.
Never ever say never. So yeah, I think which definitely gave us a lesson in the sense that, I mean, it's not that we don't cater to any specific scale of project, but I think this one thing which I think I should, or we should have pushed and would have been still a part of a kitty. And that makes me, I mean, the person who has done it is again, I know, and she's done an amazing job, and we love the creativity thing, but I think that somewhere is that, yeah.
Okay, now what about the one that you regret taking up? Is there any?
Well, I don't regret on anything. Sorry, but that's the fact. No matter what, I have got some really difficult clients. Trust me, really, really, I have amazing set of clients. But down back, I had really difficult, set of clients who had really tested. It's just so at times, you were like, why did I take this? But I think that's just for a second, and then you're back and rolling, and then
Yeah.
on it, and eventually they were very happy, and it just
Yeah, like you gotta do what you gotta do. You can't help
yeah,
it.
what you gotta do, yeah.
Right. Okay. So, talking about this, what are your favorite brands? The ones that you can't miss on any of your projects?
So if I want to talk about it, I know I'm going to offend the rest of them, but
I mean, you gotta be truthful.
yeah, but I think something that I really can't work without is good lights. And for this, I have very, very specific. I mean, if I need to blindly trust, if I am not around and I just have to cater to a project, it would be floss. Say for example, I'm like equally biased. Then when it comes to wall coverings, I love wall coverings. I think they are exceptionally an amazing a medium to basically change or transform a space overnight, and I just love experimenting with them. So Arte is another one for wall coverings. So I mean, there are lots. There's so many, but I mean, if you talk about any specific well-known ones, so yeah, these are the two that they somewhere sneak out space to be part of it. And my project.
Okay. So, also one very important question that a lot of people ask: how do you end up getting rich clients? What is it? What is it? How do you do it?
No, it's not true. I
Is
still
it
have
like a
that.
magnet?
Sorry, sorry, I missed what you said, Paushika.
I mean, is it like a magnet
Oh no,
to draw
God.
all the rich people, all the rich clients?
No, I don't agree. I still, I have tough clients, irrespective whether they're rich or not. I have my own share of hardships with them. I just don't know how to answer that. Sorry, you made me speechless on this one.
Okay. So, talking about money, what was your first big purchase when you started off doing your own thing, building your own houses? What was your first big purchase back in the day?
You are asking me to travel back like what, 18 years now or 16 years? Actually, nobody's asked me that
Whatever you
question.
remember, whatever's close to your heart.
Um, I think I'm I did buy a ticket to go and meet my boyfriend then and husband now to UK, to London. So yeah,
Wow.
I think that's what my biggest indulgence or the splurge that I did was purchased like a 30,000 direct flight ticket to London.
They don't make them at 30,000 anymore.
Oh no, now, yeah, of course,
That's
I
a
was lucky.
direct
See,
flight.
so yeah,
Wow.
I just sneaked out of the country. with the first big chunk of money that I got to
Wow.
meet the
That's
my
so
life.
sweet. I hope you're listening though.
So,
Yeah, okay. So, one very controversial yet non-controversial question I would like to ask you. So, these days, everybody's become an architect, if you know what I mean, like furniture makers are architects,
exactly, no way.
actresses, vibe act, like, Bollywood wives are actresses, or, like, there's so many times when I go to like someone's hired me, and I'm like, how much we get this kind of furniture, and they're like, oh, we have a furniture designer, and they're saying they'll do the interior layout for us, and I'm like, how is every furniture designer in this country becoming an interior designer or an architect? Like, how is that even humanly possible? What would you like to say about that? I'm sure you've also come across a lot of these kinds.
Of course. And then I again come across them as being victimized and then coming back. So, but I see it's a very open market. It's in an unorganized market, which is in a positive way, it's very good because it's giving everybody the equal opportunity to go
Yeah.
out there, get it, explore. If you have, what I should say, creative potential, nobody's stopping you, whether you're a furniture dealer, whether you are a rich actor's wife, or you are a professional. So if you have it, you get it. But I know where you're coming from because there is a segment of people who don't understand what design studying design and coming on and understanding the technicalities. It's not just cut, copy, paste in terms of
No, but
your.
these are the people who suggest column hata do yahan se, column chisel kar do, beam chisel kar do, shaft band
Yes.
kar do. This is not doable.
So it is you're right. I mean, and we come across with such things so many times because when we say no to a certain removal of a column, they say that, oh, that that furniture person was saying that we can absolutely remove and accommodate this amazing large size couch. I was like, for a couch you're removing a column, why don't you remove it and see what else
No,
you have to remove.
this happened with me where there were shafts in a plan and someone just took the shafts off and converted them into tables, like consoles on the, in the hallway. And I was like, how is that even doable? What are you doing with this plan?
So well picked up a question, Paushika, but I think there needs to be a guideline to be able to. I think, see, again, if you have talent, you are out there, you will do it. But
Of
it's the
course.
judgment of the people who wants to be fooled or not fooled. There still is a category. I mean, people out there, some of the furniture people are doing amazing jobs than
Yeah.
most of the people who belong to the industry. I mean, I am not denying that, but I think there should be a little control of the title, the category in which they could be part of the project, because the idea is nobody's stopping the creativity, but they should not be messing with the functional bit of it. So that
Yeah.
little fine line between becoming a part of this fraternity by understanding this whole profession, or just randomly being super creative and just endorsing your ideas into it. So I think there has to be a little, because we are in our country, luckily or unluckily, we are all unorganized. Everybody has a chance, equal chance, which is very good, but look abroad, there is a section. If unless you are a rebar 1 2 3 parts or whatever, you cannot practice as an architect. You still have to have a guidance of a person who is part of that institution and qualified and
Yeah.
signed. You are still doing, you understand what I'm saying, but there is like
Yeah.
there's like a consultancy, there's like a bond that you go hand in hand, so that you don't mess around but nobody's stopping your
Yeah.
expertise. So I think there has to be a little regulation to just stop the harming that's happening. Otherwise I
Yeah,
think
to just
creativity.
really streamline everything.
Exactly. Otherwise, creativity doesn't need any boundaries,
Yeah.
whether irrespective of what background you are. Otherwise, you're qualified, not qualified. I think, but it just needs to be streamlined so that instead of doing much positivity, it's doing harm.
We have a rapid fire session for you.
Oh wow, that I was
Okay, so you gotta be quick and honest, to say the least. Okay, so
okay.
my first question to you in the rapid fire would be, so they say architects are all about the details, right?
Uh-huh.
And in order of preference, we would like to know, who do you think is the hottest amongst the coming
Hottest,
5 architects that I name you? You can rate them on the basis of 1 to 5.
like
You
the
know,
work hotness or the hotness.
no, not work hotness, other
Okay.
hotness. Okay, so there's Zafar Chaudhry, Amir Sharma, Shantanu Garg, Ashish Shah, and Parvez Alam.
Oh God, why did you minute?
It has to be difficult, right? It has to be a choice you have to make.
I think it would have been much easier without the last option because, of course, it goes without saying. Like I said, now this interview is going to be in my bedroom. Understand that. What um, okay. I think Parvez Alam is mine, so any which ways he's hot, so I can just exclude him for the list.
Okay.
I would say Ashish, and then what was that? Then Amir,
Okay.
uh, Shantanu, and then rest. I mean, these are two of my. I mean, if we talk about the hottest questions.
Okay. Okay. So, which of the following people would you like to collaborate with on a project? Vinita Chaitanya, Vaishali Kandar, and Ashish Shah.
I think these three, all three are fabulous. I mean, it'll be honor for me to collaborate with. I mean, trust me that this comes naturally. All the three are my favorites. I love their work. I mean, amazing,
Yeah, but you
amazing.
have to choose one.
Uh, Vinita, because I think she plays amazingly with the colors. The marriage that she does with the traditional and the modern. I think it's her special expertise. How well, how beautifully she synchronizes these different arts together, and I love her for that. So
Okay.
I think yes. I mean, though, I mean, I want to do with all three. It's going to be my honor.
Okay. So, who do you think is a girl boss in the industry?
Girl boss in the industry. Oh God, that's a difficult one. As in, like you're talking about within a country.
Within the country, yes. All these questions are within the country, so you can't escape any.
Girl boss. It's a very difficult one. But I can say one person which I know very personally, Sonali Rastogi. I think she is one hell of a boss, and I'm so glad
Yeah.
that she was mine. So yeah, she is the one
Okay.
to choose.
Okay. So, which of the following designers that you think have completely different design viewpoints than you would? Like, they don't match with your aesthetic, design aesthetic. One is Iram Sultan, then Amrita Guha, and Rasil Gujran. Which of the three?
Will not match.
Yeah, where you feel that you have, your design aesthetics would be different.
I think Paushika, you were just trying to get me more enemies by this interview, getting more followers on.
No, that's not true.
I hope so. Okay, I'm going to be very diplomatic and then fun. Sorry, but I think everybody has their own style and differentiation in terms of
So
design.
diplomatic.
Yeah, because I think all of them are so different. I mean, there's no comparison. I mean, totally not. Sorry.
Okay. That's okay. So describe your ideal client in 3 words. Apart from bank balance. Apart from that, yeah.
Of course, big balance, big bank balance. That's because that will not stop my creativity. It's very manual. Doesn't work without it. I think a good listener because
Mm-hmm.
these days mostly what do we found is everybody's so well traveled. They live at the best of the places when they're traveling. Wherever they go, they want a little bit of that. Everything in here. But I think they should understand that it is not possible and it is not correct because the derivative of architecture or design is adaptation to their environment, the foreground where this making rich roofs in Delhi is such a cliche. For
Right.
example, I get so many times as an option as an insisting thing from my client that I need a
Right.
pitch roof. easily.
Okay, so what is the meanest thing that a client has ever said to you, or you've ever said to a client? Goes both ways.
Well, I've
I've
been
never known an architect to.
amazing. I've been mean to my clients because when I am wanting to push my design, I go to extend. I know it's good for them. So they've been so sweet. I've been just blessed to have them. They listen. They hate me, and then they call my husband and say, that's your wife. She's always off. But I think the meanest, very recently, when I was explaining a design, and one of my clients, but she's been always very sweet to me. And then I don't know what happened, and she is, she just, because they just pick up personal because there's no other way they can basically, put a thing on you. And then she's like, your husband has better ideas than you. You know what I mean? I hope. Excuse me. And then I'm like, oh, of course I don't mind. It's okay. I was like, where is this even coming from?
No, I understand. Okay. And since now have two very successful design practices running in different parts of the world, I'm sure you come across a lot of like varied employees. Some are super smart and some are super dumb. So what's the dumbest thing that an employee's ever asked you?
Okay, lots, but I don't know. But I'll just do a very hilarious one. So I was in Italy. I was in Milan procuring furniture, and there were like so many deadlines falling back in the office. And then I happened to be there on 14th of February, which everybody knows is a Valentine's Day. And here I am away from my Valentine and my family, my son, and everybody, and working my ass out there. Sorry to you. But and then I get a call as like, ma'am, can I just take a break off today? I was like, for what? I didn't even know it was 14. So he's like, it's a Valentine's Day. Sachi, today is Valentine's Day. And I was like, but you don't have a girlfriend, you told me. And then he was like, so, they come up with excuses, and then I have to be so weirdly upfront with them that, okay, had you had a girlfriend or a boyfriend, I would have said, okay, yeah. I would have never had an audacity to ask my boss that today is Valentine. Can I please? I want to take an off today. So blunt. So, hello.
Okay. Right. It's been a lovely chat with you. I have one last question for today's session, which is that what's the one advice that you'd like to give to budding designers? Because so many people have, difficulties in understanding when to start their practices, and what sort of clients do we deal with, how do we approach clients. There's so many issues with so many people who right out of college to start their own design practice.
See, the fact that there's never a right time to start your own work. It just comes from within. There's never ever. But if you go by the books, it's always better to have an expertise in various direction, have a work experience, under the kind of work that one wants to practice, or the league that one wants to be a part of, So one should definitely, because I think being a part of a larger or any existing well-established firm is always better, and it gives you a very good insight. So, frankly, from my personal experience, I would say the kids, or the budding architects and designers, they should be a little more patient. They should understand the depth of the business of this fraternity, and it's always nicer because these these experiences are going to add to their own practices. It's always beneficial. But saying that, that's by the rule book, and which I believe. But I think there's so much of talent around. There's so much, that if a person wants to start and has the right platform, as a right people, or the gallery that one belongs to, there's no stopping. You have consultants for everything. So like I'm saying, today's world is so good. You can do what you want. There's no stopping.
Yeah.
So nothing goes by the rule book today. I know so many budding designers or architects. They haven't got any experience under anyone, but still, but the sensibility which comes naturally is scaling them off.
Yeah.
And the Other thing is, don't try to be anyone. Try to be a signature of yourself, because
No, that's a very smart thing to say.
it's because of your right choices, your passion for work, your passion for design. Zahad, it can be one, or any good interior designer can be just one. Just don't. I mean, you can always look up to it, but I think just be genuine and truthful to your own styling, and you will come out with flying colors. Because the clients are so open, the market is so open, everybody's here to experiment. And I think that's why the market is improving so very well, even in these unprecedented times. So I think to be your own individual you know designer in your own aesthetics, with your own aesthetic taste, is very important. And people are out there looking for new diversified options, which are not traditional or patent.
That's lovely. Thank you so much. I think you've been a super duper sport when it comes to answering all these questions.
I just hope so. Thank you. It was lovely chatting with you, Paushika. Amazing.
It was great. I had a good time. I'm sure everybody watching us also had a good time listening to all the fun and
So,
thrilling questions.
I can talk about myself and also the viewers as well that it has been a fantastic session. I'll tell you why. I think both of you ladies have actually started the Saturday morning with a very refreshing chit chat session. So thank you so much. It was not a very serious discussion, but a very interesting, and like even Sachi mentioned that in the end, that be your own individual and have your own signature. That's absolutely very important and a wonderful message to the young architects and designers. So thank you so much, lovely ladies, for
Thank you
doing
so much.
this for us.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, and we will see you very soon.
thank you so much.